It's the new moon in Cancer today, which means yesterday evening I completed my dark moon tarot and oracle card reading ritual, just as a way of checking in before making and setting some intentions for this next lunar cycle using new moon manifesting energies. If you are curious as to how this works, stick around because I'm going to share with you how I work with the dark moon with my tarot and oracle cards. But first, do comment below if you like to work with the lunar phases, in particular with the dark moon. Which are your favourite decks to use? Hello and welcome. My name is Sally. I am an artist, a tarot and oracle card enthusiast, but I'm also a passionate about working with the lunar phases. So I've created this series of videos to share my practice working with the moon phases. I've been working with the moon phases with my tarot and oracle practice for the last couple of years, but more recently, say the last 6 months or more, I've started to incorporate dark moon work as well. And if you're not familiar with the dark moon is that moment just before we head into the new moon. So the moon is pretty much completely obscured by the sun, hence the name dark moon, because when we look out into the skies, there is no moon for us to see. And then when we get to the new moon, that's when the very thin slither of a crescent moon starts to appear, indicating to us that the lunar cycle is starting all over again. I kind of ended up working with the dark moon accidentally. It was sort of on my radar. I follow Yasmin Boland quite a lot. I like her moonology system, if you like, and recently she has been talking about it, and you're probably aware that she brought out her dark moon oracle deck out earlier on this year. I don't have a copy of that deck, and if you don't have a copy of the deck but like the idea of working with the dark moon, fear not, I am going to share with you what you can use or try instead. Now, why would you want to work with the dark moon? So the dark moon, to put it into Yasmin's terms, is sort of the final opportunity to release anything that is not serving you. It's similar to the full moon in that respect, where we release, surrender, and if perhaps we didn't quite do all of that at the full moon, or we've not shedded everything we needed to in the waning cycle of the phase, and this is our last time to just check in and to just release everything. However, I use it in a slightly different way for reasons which I will explain, but it's more of a monthly check-in, just to kind of see where I'm at, what I'm doing, things that maybe I need to think about focusing on in the forthcoming cycle. Now, it might be a surprise, but I don't typically use a moonology deck for this reading. I save that for the new and full moon readings. However, I might take some significator cards. So as I said, it is full moon, new moon in Cancer tomorrow, and the balsamic moon card just represents this idea that we're in a healing phase just before the new moon. However, these are the decks that I used for this reading. So the current season of the witch oracle, which is the Letha oracle, Rooted Woman, Phantom Wise tarot, I Am Queen oracle, and the Urban Crow oracle. I appreciate this sounds probably quite complicated, so I'm going to layer this up and show how you can create a simple reading and how you can make it more in depth should you wish to. So, keeping this as a simple reading to start any beginners out there off. And you can mix and match and skip any of the stages that obviously I suggest. I always like to start with a current energies card, which is from whichever is the current season of the witch deck, which in this case is the Letha deck. I then like to have a summary card, which I will pull at the end of the reading, kind of like an overarching statement or theme that is coming through. And I've gone with MJ Cullinane's Urban Crow Oracle. That's really just to check in with the kind of the Morrigan energy, which I normally work with at this time of the moon phase. Now, I mentioned in the intro that I like to use this time to check in with kind of where I'm at, and so the Rooted Woman Oracle is perfect for this. And so if you don't have the Dark Moon Oracle, but you have the Rooted Woman Oracle, this is what I would recommend. The reason I recommend it is because this deck has been divided into 3 different suits. So the journey suit, so where you are on your heroine's journey or life stage, if you like. The allies suit, which is the energies that are going to help you with your journey stage. And so these are typically feminine energies or deities that you can take inspiration from, maybe qualities that they have that will help. And then you have the places suit, which is describing tasks that maybe need to be undertaken or completed, depending on where we're at with our journey. Now, you could absolutely just pull these 3 cards. You don't even need to have the opening energies and the closing summary, and this will give you a nice indication, a nice rounded summary of what's going on at this dark moon. Now, if you don't have this deck, I'm pretty sure you could use any tarot or oracle deck, but use the same ideas or questions to find out where you're at and what energies and tasks that need to be undertaken. I just happen to think that this deck works really, really well. Now, if you wanted to go a little bit deeper, and I had quite a lot of time yesterday to do this, I then like to take a tarot deck to kind of clarify or to give an indication of whereabouts these ideas are taking place within my life. So where in my life am I going to experience a fall? Where could I benefit from women's wisdom? Where might I need to plumb to the depths, so on and so forth? And for this, I've chosen the Phantom Wise Tarot, just because this is I would say a gentle, shadowy deck, and these are the cards that I pulled. Now, this is not going to be a video that is a reading. I'm putting the readings of these examples up on my Patreon. If you want to see how I interpreted this. And so you start to build a bigger picture. Now, sometimes I do just leave it with the Rooted Woman cards and my clarifiers, but I had a bit more time, as I said, to do this reading. And so this is where the I Am Queen Oracle came out. And I guess I'm clarifying the clarifier. I'm sure there's people that have opinions about sort of having too many clarifying cards, but I just find that the more decks I work with, the bigger the picture, and then you get sort of repeated messages coming through as well, which I quite like. And so these are the cards. Oh, I think it was that one, and then that one there. So I find by combining multiple decks, often what will happen is there will be kind of repeated themes coming up. So for instance, we've got falling and plumbing to the depths here. So yeah, this is a call to action to go a little bit deeper with whatever it is I'm working on. But we've also got Bond and Queen of Gratitude here, and actually Six of Cups, which is this idea of just, yeah, finding joy, finding gratitude, which will support anything that I want to achieve particularly with the King of Pentacles, which is that sort of ultimate sense of, you know, getting to the top of your game because you've put the hard work in. So it's a really fascinating way of, yeah, just having a little bit of a life check in. And that's why I enjoy working with the cards in this way. I really do appreciate you joining me today to explore working with the dark moon phase as a part of your tarot and oracle practice. And if you found that useful, please consider giving it a cheeky like and comment below if you decide to try this out, and I'd love to hear how you get on with it. If you are interested in this type of content, so I create videos about tarot and oracle cards, journaling, written journals, but also art journaling for understanding your readings on a deeper level, and of course working with the moon phases, then I'd love for you to join this growing channel. If you've enjoyed exploring additional ways of working with your cards, then please consider checking out a collaborator to this channel, Gary from the Spiritual Cockney, who is a Reiki master but also works heavily with oracle and tarot cards, and he's a wonderful intuitive reader who has helped me to understand some of my relationships with the cards on a deeper level. So go and say hi to Gary. Until the next video, here are some more videos you can check out in the meantime. Sending you much love wherever you are. I'm Sally, this is my channel, Vaudeville Manor, House of Art and Tarot. Bye bye.